That's big business, baby. And unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of it.
Okay, keeping on big business in the NFL, the beer prices for this upcoming season came out. And guess who is leading the way at $14.67 for a 12-ounce beer?
Cowboys.
No, hell no. The Cowboys actually do well with that.
Cowboys come under average.
Yeah, the Cowboys actually do well with that. If it's $14, I'd probably say either the Rams, probably the Rams.
No,
or the Chargers.
No, they're second. They come in at $13.50 a beer. It's going to be the Eagles this season.
No shit.
$14.67.
The Eagles.
The Eagles.
Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome to this week's episode of Bets and Buds. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
And we're the Buds helping you cash your bets out there. We're just going to welcome back this week into these dog days of summer that we're entering here. NBA Finals are just wrapped up, but the NHL Finals are heating up, baby. So hopefully give us all the way to Game 7 to get this thing going.
Yeah, that one's getting sketchy.
It's getting juicy. McDavid's going for it.
He's going for it. I mean, but they have nothing to lose, so
yeah. I mean, you know what? They got
nothing to
lose.
They might as well play their style.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're going to go and do their thing. And
so let's start there then with the NHL. I mean, they steamrolled them the other night, 8-1. Wow, that was just an ass whooping.
Yeah.
Last night they held on for the victory, 5-3. Florida made it a lot closer than it probably should have been.
Oh, and almost an amazing play, probably one of the plays of the year when Matt could chuckle that saving goal.
But then you got
McDavid just turns around and scores right on. But either way, if you ever want to teach a kid about all-out effort, that's it right there.
So yeah, I mean, since that third period of Game 3, Florida's been outscored 15-4 in 7 periods, 15-4. Going into that Game 4, they were talking about Bobrovsky maybe setting a save record in the finals. Well, that's definitely out the window.
That's out the window now for sure, definitely.
Florida's got to be scared. They're going back to Edmonton.
That's going to be a little nerve-wracking, but it also, too, like as you listen to a lot of former NHL players, they said it also could be a little peaceful for them. So think about when the Blues won their cup back in 19.
True.
Like they lost that game here. It could have been a clincher, but it actually was more of a peaceful thing of going to Boston, not having to deal with all the families, where the parade and where the after parties were and all that type of stuff. I mean, there's so many things when it's at home, especially when you got to win that game and the other team's desperate.
Yeah, because the Blues came out humming in that first
period. Yeah, they did. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think Florida, it might also almost be like a little relief factor that they're so far away from everything else that matters.
Giving up that shorthanded goal on the first goal of the game. That one really hurt.
That was tough.
You can't give up shorthanded goals, not in the
Stanley Cup Finals,
especially not to a team like the Oilers.
Yeah, because all they need is
for their penalty kill anyway.
Yeah, and all they need is a little bit of juice and momentum, and they're rolling.
And they showed it.
And how about that? I mean, that one assist from McDavid, man. Where, I mean, he just knifed through 3 defenders.
Oh yeah, and then just that quick,
perfect spot. I mean, perfect. I mean, he just. All the way around, dude's a stud.
So he's got 7 points in his last 2 games after being basically shut out pretty much for the first 3. He is the best player.
Oh, he is. I mean, like I said, between probably him and Nate McKinnon, because if you watch McKinnon, he's pretty special too.
He is good.
But McDavid, he just has a little extra juice.
It's like video game.
Yes, it is. It's a juice that
you hit that circle button.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, so we got the NHL Finals and the NBA Finals are just wrapped up. But
I still think Florida wins that, though.
You think so?
Ultimately.
I think so, too, but I would still like to see a Game 7 for the drama.
True.
Because, I mean, that's hard to beat any team, 4 teams in a row.
Game 7s are always awesome.
Yeah, I'd still love to see a Game 7 for the drama. Plus, because after that, we got shit else with baseball.
Then there's nothing else.
Nothing else with baseball.
Because this is it for basketball. I'm not sure when it is, because the NHL is 48 hours after the last finals game is when free agency technically
so the NBA
kicking. Is that the same way in the NBA?
Yeah, the NBA for the most part is pretty much they've already kicked off some of their free agent signings. Because I think was it Pierre Siakam from the Pacers?
Oh, yeah,
they had a big pickup. They just re-signed him today. Okay. I think it was 4 years, $189 million. It's like Jesus, the money in the NBA is just getting insane. It
is crazy.
4 years.
The league minimum or the lowest paid players, $7 million or something?
Oh, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, your guy at the end of your bench is making like $6-7 million a year.
It is crazy.
That's a beautiful time to be in the NBA.
So, yes, the Celtics won their 18th championship. Was it really ever in doubt after Game 2?
Not really. I mean, not for the most part. I mean, you could have saw Boston trying to do something, but after they lost Game 3 and it was down 3-0,
right.
I mean, yeah, they pull out that to keep it to where it's just a gentleman's sweep, not a full all-out sweep. I mean, nobody really saw that. The Celtics had such a loaded team top to bottom. I mean, loaded absolute team top to bottom.
I mean, Tatum didn't even win the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, Tatum didn't even win an MVP. Jaylen Brown was a stud. Mm-hmm. And what's so crazy is when you look at that on the like draft-wise, two teams, the Sixers and the Lakers, both of them had a chance to put that combination together themselves. And so like the season before when Jaylen Brown was drafted third, I think who was it? Who do we say it was? I know the Lakers took was it Lonzo Ball? I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like Lakers took Lonzo Ball that draft, and then who was it? Who had the number 1 pick? It was the Sixers. Sixers took Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons draft.
So maybe it's vice versa. So yeah, Ben Simmons that draft, and I think the Lakers. I can't remember who they took number 2.
Did Lonzo go that high?
Yeah, he went that high. I think because I know he was one of that second pick the next year. Because the next year the Sixers had their first pick in front of that. And they picked Markelle Fultz, who was out of the league, and then I think there was Lonzo Ball, and then Jason Tatum was taken shortly right after that. So like they had so the Celtics basically did a great job. That's Danny Ainge, that's Brad Stevens with their scouting, the way they put that together. I mean, that team was loaded. I mean, even like when you look at somebody like Drew Holiday, who's a role player, he's on the USA Olympic basketball team. I mean, you obviously clearly that tells you the dude's a stud. So. I mean, that team was just, Derek White, great contributions. Oh, yeah. He was a role player. And that's how you win championships, baby. I mean, that is. I mean, you got to have role players that are that strong. I mean, you go back and look at those Bulls teams back in the day.
Horace Grant, baby.
Ron Harper. I even go like Ron Harper. Look at a guy like Ron Harper. Ron Harper. So, like, I was looking at that team. We talked about the 72-win Bulls team. And so that was Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Ron Harper, and Tony Kukoc.
Yeah.
That was your starting 5. That was your start. So almost like playing today's game basketball back then before the NBA was ready for it. Because I mean, really, that was almost. I mean, Rodman wasn't playing center per se, because offensively he was just there to grab the rebound, power forward. So they were almost playing a positionless basketball. Because a lot of times Scottie Pippen would run the point. So I mean, that was just a very dangerous team when you talked about how they were put together at that time. So like that's something when you look at the Celtics team, they had a lot of moving parts. Very similar to that, Okay. So shout out to Jason Tatum, St. Louis kid. I hate the Celtics, always have, always will. That's why I became a Laker fan when I was a kid. So you know what? Shout out to you, your local boy getting your championship. We got another local boy that can hopefully get one here coming up.
Yeah, hopefully Kachuk gets his.
Yeah. So that's all pretty much I had on that series. I mean,
it's over.
Yeah, it's over.
Free agency time.
Yeah, it's free agency time. I mean, they're going to start making moves. Franchises are going to start, with coaching. The biggest thing right now is the coaching. Right. Because the draft is in like 2 weeks. So a lot of teams want to finalize who their coaches are. I mean,
because the Pistons just fired their coach.
Yeah, Monty Wood, $65 million to walk away. Man, fire me, please.
Oh, yeah, how bad was he?
Fire
Jesus.
Me. You know what was crazy? He got fired last year from the Suns job. Yeah, I mean.
For $20 million.
I think the only reason why he took that job, according to reports. Now, obviously, I don't know who Monty Williams is, but according to the reports that I heard that he was, basically, like his wife had been going through a cancer battle. He really didn't want to take that job with Detroit.
Yeah,
but they offered him. He gave him $100 million to take the job,
especially when they're going to fire you.
And then I think they threw like a healthcare package in there and private jet access. So I mean, how do you not take that job? No. I mean, there's only so many of those jobs out there. You get there, you do it. It is what it is. We got fired, $65 million. That's one hell of a severance package to me, baby.
That's a hell of an umbrella, baby. That's a hell of an umbrella.
That's a hell of a severance package to me.
All right, we're going to move on to baseball now. The Cardinals lost another heartbreaker again today. Two in a row now to the lowly-ass Marlins.
Right when we get over 500, we go right back below.
We go right back below.
And that's middling baseball, baby.
Like we said last week, middling baseball. 36 and 37. The only thing that we got to worry about again is Arenado that got hit in that same hand again. Like we were talking about it last week, he got hit in the hand. He wasn't hurt, obviously, but this one might have broke something.
Yeah,
or hit that same spot.
Hopefully not. Yeah, hopefully not, because Contreras was just coming back from his fractured hand.
He starts his.
I think he had his second. He had his second rehab start, I believe, today.
And then Edmonds has actually went out. Tommy Edmonds.
We
got a Tommy Edmonds.
We got a Tommy Edmonds sighting.
Yep, he's starting his rehab.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, that's what they say.
I'm not holding my breath there. I mean, that maybe like a 4th of July after 4th of July appearance.
So they're 7 games back of the Brewers right now. They were at least going into today clinging to that last playoff spot, but who knows? It's still a long way to go. Gibson actually did not make his start today.
Yes, he did. It was a late scratch. Yeah, he was a late scratch.
So Liberatore come in, started. First pitch, home run.
Yeah, I mean,
very first pitch of the game.
And you know what's crazy is he does so well out of the bullpen. I've actually been impressed with his bullpen appearances, but man, he starts a game, man.
So then he went ball, strike, ball, home run. Yeah, he did not have a good start. Settled down after that, but
he might be one of those guys who just ends up being a bullpen
he just
guy.
Can't.
As a starter, he just maybe it's too much pressure to start the game. Who knows?
Was the Miller guy, the lefty Miller guy for the Clevelands? We actually signed him for a while.
I know Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller. Didn't he start out as a lefty starter?
Yeah, I think he was a lefty starter at one point. Couldn't get. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that. Most relievers, they pretty much started out. They started out as starters at some point, especially your guys that are long guys that are going to come in 3rd, 4th inning. At some point, those guys were projected starters. That they said, you know what, we got to let you just piggyback off other guys' bad starts.
The thing is, defense actually lost you that game in the 9th today.
Yeah, and last night too. But you know what it was last night? It was what's his Raycroft or whatever his name is? Rycroft or whatever. Yeah, like he didn't cover first base. Nope. He didn't cover first base. And
then Burleson made a bad. I don't know what the hell that was.
But sometimes it just snowballs. Once you start seeing mistakes and the ass cheeks get a little tighter, and you start just pressing.
So 36-37 Midland team, just like we said last week.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know what?
That's about all we're gonna have in about 3 days.
Yep, probably so. So you know what? That's Cardinals baseball right now. And I guess what we got for the NFL.
The NFL, Trevor Lawrence got his big fat contract last week.
Yes, he did.
Half an hour after we had signed off.
Yeah, $145 million guaranteed.
Yep.
275?
Like $55 million a year. Yeah, however it breaks down.
Yeah, I want to say it was like $111 million on signing. So I mean, man,
great. 5 years, $275 million.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know what? It's great to be a quarterback now in the NFL because now it's not even about resume anymore. It's almost like does your team need you or not? This is what you get to command.
So that puts 5 quarterbacks now over $50 million a season.
That's crazy. So now, what that means now is guys like Dak Prescott, you got Tua Tagovailoa, you've got who's the other one that's out there waiting for another contract? Brock Purdy. Purdy's going to get paid.
Did Herbert get paid yet?
Oh, yeah. Herbert already got paid. Herbert's going to actually...
That's right.
That's actually going to look like a great contract
he
now.
Got paid last year.
His contract's going to look like a bargain now compared to these guys. But that's how it keeps going. It keeps going up and up and up. So before long, I mean, you're going to see somebody signing like $1 billion damn near contract where they're getting half, because Mahomes already essentially did it with the Chiefs.
It's never going to stop as long as the money-making machine keeps going.
Oh, yeah. And Mahomes already did it with the Chiefs. I mean, he really did. I mean, because he signed a $500 million contract. And I mean, so he had, I think, $422 million of it was guaranteed for a 10-year deal. I mean, they'll go in and rework that. He's going to get paid again somehow, some way. I mean, that's just how it's going to work. So I mean, like that quarterback money just keeps going up and up and up. But
you're going to have like multiple billion-dollar athletes.
Oh, yeah, but in a heartbeat here. But speaking of those Chiefs, what is that news you heard about with Kansas City? That they're talking about maybe moving the Chiefs to the Kansas side of Missouri.
I believe that's. I mean, it's all politics.
I mean, it's all politics because they voted that shit down so fast to build a new stadium for it and fund it.
They did.
But there's nothing in Kansas. There is, they share that border, man. I mean, I'm telling you right now, they could very easily make that move.
Oh, they could.
Because they're talking about doing it for the Royals and for the Chiefs. Make some big monstrous facility that's right there. You can still get your people that are from Kansas City, which I mean they're still loyal fans.
Right.
They'll cross that border real fast, real easy.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. But
especially for a big fancy new stadium.
Right. I mean, right now we know how it is. It's all leverage for the most part because they know that that at the end of the day, like they got the fans' heartstrings, and they're not going to let the team just leave and walk. But that's part of the art of negotiation, I guess, they're doing with the city.
I mean, publicly funded stadiums, like, at this point, just be done with it.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's crazy, but that's not how these guys got paid. That's not how they became rich.
You're not wrong.
That's not how they became rich, and that's one of the genius behind that when I always try to explain that to people. Because like, anytime these guys have a player strike or anything, we always blame the athlete. And everybody goes, oh, well, they held out, they're holding a strike. These dudes are making billions of dollars off of the sweat of these guys.
The owners
back.
are not trying to pay more money.
Yeah, and they're not trying to pay more money. And on top of that, I mean, the players typically are like the last time when the NFL locked out, they were locked out, and the fans were on the owner side. Right. And it's like most people really think about it. You got a lot more in common with these millionaires than you do the billionaires.
Fans want their football, though.
Oh, I know it because they want to get away from the shitty ass shit going on in their life and see somebody scoring touchdowns.
On Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I want to see football.
Which speaking of NFL like legal issues, you talk about that. So like that just came off that the Sunday ticket battle, which nobody heard about that, which is crazy.
I actually don't know.
You don't know about? Okay, so. For 9 years now, there was a bar in somewhere, I think either San Francisco, and basically what happened was they filed a lawsuit against the antitrust lawsuit against the NFL, basically saying that they were price gouging these Sunday ticket prices. Okay. So for those of you that don't know this, I'm a bar owner, and I will tell you right now, yes, you pay $500 a year for the Sunday ticket package. I will tell you right now. Screw you! I pay 4 or 5 times that. Like now, that was when we first started. So
now, is it predicated on number of TVs or just because you're a sports bar?
It's predicated on number of TVs, how many receivers you have, how many TVs, all that type of stuff. How many games you can show on the TVs. So it has nothing to do with what type of bar you are. It's basically how many games you can show within to a certain amount of people
because I have one TV basically is what they're thinking.
Yeah,
I've got one TV.
You can only make so much money off of what showing. Let's say you were to go into it with a package with you and your buddies, and that takes away how many people are going to purchase that package. So for me to own the bar, let's say I was able to put 100 people in the bar, and then now that's 100 people that aren't going to be subscribing.
So they're potentially offsetting their losses because of people.
So there was the antitrust on basically doing a price gouging, that whole thing. Well, so that went before the judge today, and and it's so funny again, when we talk about people siding with the billionaires, how quietly they were able to keep that. How did they keep that? Again, you pay attention to sports. We do a sports podcast. You hadn't heard anything about it, and a lot of people hadn't heard anything about it. And I mean, even including myself, I hadn't heard about it until a couple of days ago. And so now, to hear that Roger Goodell has to testify in front of a federal judge on antitrust laws because of is the NFL Sunday ticket is a price gouging entity. Okay. So that
So did they start arguments today?
No. Goodell testified yesterday. Yeah, okay. Jerry Jones was on the stand today.
Oh wow! No, I did not hear a thing about
this. But again, it's not going to go anywhere because the NFL always has to fall back on, and we got a great product that we're giving you guys. Our subscribers can do anything they want with this package. They can see all the games. Plus, if you don't want to subscribe to it, you can watch all the games for free. Right. And so that's how they're going. That's the only way that I can see the NFL getting in trouble as far as a decline on business if they get too greedy on this pay to watch program. That's going to be one of the hardest things to kind of go off of.
Yeah, because I'm not getting another subscription to watch more football.
Yeah, there's only so many things that you can kind of keep watching, keep following before you're like, okay, well, that's enough.
I'm done.
Enough. But the younger generation is going to do that because the numbers have shown last year when Amazon had their had their game,
21 million or something.
Yeah, then you had the that playoff game that was on Peacock, the Chiefs game against the Dolphins. That did great numbers. So at the end of the day, they got Christmas on Netflix this year. Guess what? It's here to stay. So
I am already paying for that. So
yeah, so you'll be on for Christmas Day.
I'll be home for Christmas.
And that's what lucks up for me as a bar owner. If I make sure that anybody who doesn't want to pay that, I'll just subscribe. And that's why they do the battle the way they do, because they say, okay, if I'm not going to let these local bars have our Sunday ticket price for, say, because I'm not even going to say what I paid for this shit, but I'll tell you
$1,000.
But let's say for $1,000, yeah. So let's say if I paid $1,000, which I've never done that, it's been always no less than double of that. And so basically, if you pay $1,000, now you can fill up your bar with, let's say, 150 people. Mm-hmm. Those guaranteed that those 150 people aren't going to be buying a Sunday ticket. Right. So that's what they were trying to avoid when they started their pricing model for how they do that. So, that's big business, baby. And unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of it.
Okay, keeping on big business in the NFL, the beer prices for this upcoming season came out. And guess who is leading the way at $14.67 for a 12-ounce beer?
Cowboys.
No, hell no. Cowboys actually do well with that.
Cowboys come under average.
Yeah, the Cowboys actually do well with that. If it's $14, I'd probably say either the Rams, probably the Rams.
No,
or the Chargers.
No, they're second. They come in at $13.50 a beer. It's going to be the Eagles this season.
No shit.
$14.67.
The Eagles?
The Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles.
That's kind of like the common man's team right there. They're going to charge them $14
They are going to have the most expensive beer in the NFL at a game this year.
Well, that's probably because some people up there smuggling a lot of booze.
They might. But yeah, it was the Chargers and the Rams were second, and then you had Vegas
that makes
fourth.
Sense. That makes
at $12, and then it just kind of went to you had 14 teams above the average, 18 teams below. The Cowboys come in at $9.50 a beer. The average is $9.56. The cheapest beer, who do you think's got the cheapest beer?
Honestly, I'd probably say because I've seen this for years how they've tried to price their stuff. Probably Detroit and Atlanta.
Yep, that's it. Detroit and Atlanta, $6.25.
Just because Detroit just raised their season ticket price.
Oh, really?
You used to be able to get season tickets for like $5,000 for the whole season in Detroit, man.
They've still got the cheap beer, $6.25.
Yeah, hell yeah, I believe that.
I mean, that's a good deal.
Hell yeah,
I could drink all day at $6.25.
Yeah, hell yeah, especially if it's the big boys like you get everywhere else. Oh man.
Yeah, that's all I really got.
All right, well, I guess that's all we got for this week.
Let's go down real quick. I did write down the receivers. This is ESPN's fantasy football receiver list. This is the top 40. We don't have to go to 40, but number one. Who do you think number one is?
Justin Jefferson.
No, this is ESPN's ranking.
Okay,
and this is based on fantasy only, not like actual receiving quality.
Okay, and also Justin Jefferson, you also got to factor in quarterbacks.
Yes, you got to factor in quarterbacks.
I spoke too quickly on that one. So if I would say number one, I'd probably say Tyreek Hill.
He's number two. They've got CeeDee Lamb this year as the number one wide receiver based on everything. So you got Lamb coming in at 1, Hill at 2. Chase at 3.
Okay.
St. Brown all the way up at 4.
I can see that.
Considering the offense and the quarterback and everything.
Right.
And then you've got Jefferson in at 5.
Okay. That makes sense.
Then at this one I think's a little high just because who his partner is. A.J. Brown at 6.
I can see that though, because the thing is with Devontae Smith
Smith, man, he's good into a lot of that.
He is, but the thing is with that though, that keeps you being able to roll too much coverage over to AJ Brown, and AJ Brown's such a physical monster. So as long for me, AJ Brown is always if he can stay healthy.
Now the thing is, AJ Brown last year, week 1 through 9, like he was on a tear. He was like wide receiver number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like after week 9, he kind of fell off the cliff, and it became the Devontae Smith show.
Yeah, well, and also too that was probably a little bit of a byproduct of the slide from Jalen Hurts too last season.
That and the Eagles got banged up. Towards the end of the year
they definitely did.
Coming in next is Puka.
Okay.
Puka
okay,
7.
I can see that.
He's going to be a reception monster.
Oh yeah, especially with Cooper Kupp back too on the other side. I like that.
Garrett Wilson comes in next.
Mm-hmm. Healthy Aaron Rodgers, yes, he could easily be a top 5 receiver.
Devontae Adams after Wilson.
No quarterback.
Yeah, that one's a little high. That one is.
Devontae's still involved. Minshew's good, but I mean, like that's let's say Minshew goes down.
But Adams is getting a step slower too. Like he's not a young man anymore.
Yeah, but his game is more predicated off of how smooth he is as a route runner. I mean, he's like Keenan Allen, like how much he can get open, but a little bit faster than Keenan Allen.
But yeah, you got Adams at 8. Pittman Jr. coming in at number 9.
Okay, I like that. I mean, he's been a consistent dog in like the last 4 or 5 years. So
at 10, you've got Olave.
Okay.
I think that's a little high.
That's a little high for me because Derek Carr is still the quarterback, right? That's a little high for me on that one. Derek Carr is
Evans after that. Tampa Bay's Evans.
Okay, like Evans. I mean, the solid 1,000 yards every year he's been in the NFL.
And then you've got your first rookie, Harrison Jr. They've got all the way up to 12, I guess, because he's going to be Arizona's only dog.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be he'll be their top weapon. And you also got, what's that, a kid, Trey McBride, the tight end, who came on last year. So we'll see. I mean, that's not a bad pick, but I don't like using rookies and fantasy receivers.
Drake London at 13.
Okay.
DJ Metcalf at 14. Which I mean, because they lost. Not Tyler Lockett. didn't sign somewhere else?
Did he re-sign?
Okay.
I'm almost positive he re-signed. But he's lost he's lost a step or two.
But then you got Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, Justin Smith and Jigba. Yeah. He's coming to his second year in the league, but it also might be a byproduct of Geno Smith too as well.
Okay. Then you got Nico Collins after that. That's 18.
I mean, Nico had a great year last
year. He did. But now you've got to battle with Dell and
Diggs.
And Schultz.
And Dalton Schultz.
And Mixon.
Yes, we'll see. But, he got paid. So
that could be a little high. Yeah. Collins at 18 could be high. Then you've got 2 Niners back-to-back, 19 and 20. Debo and Ayuk.
Okay. Let's see how long both of those guys are on that team.
Right.
And how that goes. More likely Ayuk is going to be the one out of there, but we'll see what happens.
Diggs is after that.
Okay.
And then Devontae Smith coming in after that. He was at 21. And then you've got DJ Moore, Waddle, and then Cooper Kupp all the way down at 24 right now.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Huh.
And then Flowers at 25.
Okay.
Rice after that, Rashee Rice after that, but he could be suspended.
Yeah, I don't want him anywhere near my list. I really don't. I don't want him anywhere near my
list. Ridley's starting on his new team in Tennessee. Higgins after that, you said he's back in camp.
He's back in, signed his franchise tag.
Okay, then you got your Giants wide receiver, Malik Neighbors.
Okay.
They've got him up there. Then you've got Dell after that, Pickens, then Keenan Allen. He went to the Bears.
Yeah, right? He went to the Bears.
He went to the Bears. And then Chris Godwin, Hopkins, Amari Cooper, and Kirk. And then DJ Johnson, round out your top 36. After that, it's McLaurin, Addison, and Sutton.
And even once you start to get from 15 to 36.
They're all good wide receivers.
Yeah, anytime you get between 15 to 36, you're pretty much interchangeable on as far as how how cohesive the offense is going to be, how well the quarterback's playing.
Right. You don't want any of these guys as your number one.
Yeah, because
if you've made if you've made any of these guys your number one in your fantasy draft, you could be in trouble.
Yeah, those are all depth picks. Those are all depth picks at that point. So all right, so we got fantasy football as that season is quickly approaching for us here.
But did you notice one thing in the list though? A lot of these teams got 2 wide receivers in the top.
That's where, because again, like I was talking about with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, you can't have a. It's hard to have a one guy dominate and they can roll the coverage to you. So when you have both sides balanced on offense where they can't roll the coverage to your big boy top dog receiver, that helps free up the game and makes it so much easier, especially for play calling purposes.
That's what makes Lamb and actually more than Jefferson even, because you got Addison behind Jefferson, but who's Lamb got? No.
I guess they're looking at it but that's probably why he's up so high.
I'm saying that makes Lamb even more likely to be that number one.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because pretty much he's going to have to.
He's going to
have to go.
Outside of Ferguson at tight end.
Yeah, you still got. I like Ferguson. Actually, I like. He won me over last year.
Did he? Okay.
Yes, he won me. I didn't like him going into last season.
Okay.
But he won me over. Actually, he showed me a little toughness, a little grit. He can catch the ball, gets open. So
he showed off.
Yeah, well, I was impressed with Ferguson.
All right, that'll be next week. Tight ends next week.
All right, tight ends. We sure as fuck won't have 40 of them.
No, there won't be 40. Maybe 10, 15, because we'll have to draft 14
right.
of them.
All right, the last thing we got here, I guess, because one thing we weren't on for last week was the U.S. Open. And Bryson DeChambeau, I almost forgot about that one. Yeah, so I won't touch on that for too long because we kind of far removed from it now. The hangover for Bryson is pretty much over now at this point.
3 missed putts in the last 4 holes.
Those 2 3-footers, 16 and 18. Those were the backbreakers right there. And I called it too when we sat there watching
You did.
I said Bryson's going to have a putt to win it, and he's going to end up sinking it. I would have liked to see a playoff, but also I'm not the hugest Rory McIlroy fan. Right. I'm just not. I like Bryson. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of his either, but he's kind of made a good turn golf wise as far as.
He made a PR win when he stopped before he walked up to the 18th, and he stopped with the kid with the handicap.
Oh,
high-fived him and signed his hat, then went up there and sank that putt.
Oh, yeah,
to win the championship.
You got people calling him the people's champ now and stuff. He went from one of the most hated golfers.
That was a PR win, right?
It was. You talk about one turn out there out of this world. Good on you for Bryson, man.
Yeah, Rory, he was just so vocal about the live.
I mean, and even with that, I mean, he kind of got played by the powers that be on that whole thing. So I mean, he really did.
He had his chance to take the money.
Yeah, he had his chance. I mean, but like I said again, he got played by the powers that be.
He did because behind the scenes, they were wheeling and
they were wheeling and dealing, and kind of left him out to dry on that whole thing. Left him on the front lines to be the voice.
So I mean, after a defeat like that,
I mean, that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be tough.
Because he pulled out of the Travers. Immediately.
Well, because I mean, you got to think. I mean, like, because as a professional golfer, I mean, you're a professional golfer, and you're staring down a championship he hasn't had in over 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it's been like over 10 years. Yeah, it's been a long stretch.
That far away.
Yeah, I mean, and you had 3 feet. Yeah, 3 foot put away twice. Because even the first one, all right, you lose your lead.
But then DeChambeau missed his too to give it right back to him.
That's what I mean. And so I mean, like they weren't 3 footers. So I mean,
but he did miss that one.
Yeah, I mean, but like the misses at 3 foot. I mean, from that tough. When you're staring down a championship, I mean, and that's just one of those. I mean, good on you, Rory. Like I said, the mental toughness golfers show anyway to get through those 4 days of golf like that is amazing.
I still think he had like $2.5-3 million to be happy about.
Oh yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, like as an athlete, I mean, your legacy.
Yeah, you won championship.
Because at this point, I mean, he's had enough money.
Oh.
Like the money doesn't mean shit at this point. Like it not more because that's the type of stuff you lose sleep at night for years, man. I mean, he's gonna wake up seeing that for the rest of his life.
Have to go to the sports psychologist.
Oh, I mean, like for the rest of his life, that's gonna be a memory that plays in his brain. Yeah. I can tell you, just even like nowhere near on the scale of like what Rory's ever done. But like, as a former athlete in high school, college, whatever, I remember plays that I did that didn't make,
right.
And more than the plays you make, like the plays you didn't make that like should have been like those stick in your brain. Like so, like to have a big grand scale on national television, U.S. Open, you've got it right there in the palm of your hands, man. I mean, it's not like this didn't happen like about a month or so. But what was the last tournament that he was in? Maybe not the one before last. He was in that last tournament.
The major?
Yeah, the last major. He was in that one too and kind of had the same fallback. This was even worse. Because I mean you had it sitting there right in your hands.
This one's far worse.
Yeah, you sat it right in your hands. So that's sorry, Rory. Good luck on you, brother. Good luck.
Yeah, he didn't get any love on Twitter, that's for sure.
No, yeah. So I guess we got the NHL playoffs, the finals here. That's coming up, I guess.
Yeah, they got a game. It'll be Thursday night and then Saturday, and then that'll be it, regardless, one way or the other.
Yeah, one way or the other.
So by the time we see you again, it will be baseball.
Yep, and we will have a Stanley Cup champion.
Yes, we will.
But we'll find some more bullshit to fuck around with you guys with. So,
yeah.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button.
Might even have to watch MotoGP.
You might get some MotoGP out of me, Dave, after this. It's better than marble racing that we were watching during COVID. So shout out to you guys out there and keep tuning in with us. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, add to the comments section. Shout out to True on the Track for blessing us with those beats. We have a good time riding with you. Countdown to football season. And we know once that season kicks off here, we get going a week out. That'll be when we have about a year in of doing this thing and bringing it to you. And that's our gambling season, babies. That's why I get excited.
Counted it off the other day. If I got it right, and we're drafting on the same Monday that we always draft, or that Sunday. It's like 73, 74 days.
Oh, come on. Bring it, baby.
Till the fantasy draft.
Bring it.
And then football's right around the corner, baby.
Let's bring it. So I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
See you next week.
Peace.